In this video, we are going to verify and, well, we're going to extrapolate first and then we're going to verify some things. So let's just go ahead and duplicate our interpolation here. And let's call this extrapolation. Okay, so I'll pull this next to this. Okay, and so what we want to do now is we want to predict what's going to happen at 1 volt. So if we look at interpolation, we'll see we have 1 volt here. At 1 volt, that looks, we know, well, at 0.6, we know that we have around 13 volts here, or an angular velocity of 13. At 1.8, we have about 51. And so we're going to say around 1 volt, we're going to have like 27. So this is our interpolation. We could have that go into this graph as well. We could also look at extrapolation, and we could select this graph, and we could change this on, let me see, change the layout, go to f of x, and you'll see now we have ourselves, I'll get rid of that legend, an equation. So it's 31. So at 1 volt, if I put 1 in, it's saying that it's going to be 31.058 minus 5.2. So if I go here and I pick up my calculator and let me go back to Microsoft Excel, that's 31.058, 31.058 minus 5.2, I think that's right. 5.2009, we're getting 25.85. So you'll notice that we don't have that value in our interpolated kind of events, but we can, when I say interpolated events, we don't have an interpolation for 1 volt exactly, okay? So we'll keep that calculation there, but we're going to go ahead and do this by going back to video physics. And you'll notice under my experiments here that we have 1 volt. So let's see what 1 volt is going to yield. I'll do the same thing that I did before. Move my pivot point up here. And you'll see that the ruler has fallen. So let me select this, and I remember that this is a value. I don't remember what that value is. Is it up? Oh. I don't remember what this value is. I think it's 0.4. 0.41 meters. Let's go with 0.42 meters. So you know that this can be an error in my system here. So I'll go and check at some point, but this could be wrong. And we want to have our pivot point right in the center here. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and grab one of those rods. You guys can hang on right there. And I'm going to measure that rod because it's not that difficult. So I actually have the rod in my hand now, and I have a meter stick here. Oh, and I'm glad that I did this. It's actually 45.6. So instead of having 42 here, I'm going to double tap. It's going to be 0.456. Drop that. Everybody see that, hopefully, online. So I'll just move that out of the way. And I'm going to track those points from there. And I should just go ahead and probably go around maybe 4 times again. I don't have to, but I plan to. So I'm trying to middle center this. Don't worry about being super exact. If you do enough points, they'll average out. The arrow will average out. So that's one time. Two times. This is the third time. So it looks like that's the end of the video. So that'll do. Now I'll just go ahead and share this with Graphical. And then Microsoft Excel. Oh, I didn't want to open it in Dropbox. Cancel that. Open in. So I'm just going to convert and edit. I'll just drop this into the same folder that I've been working in. Let's see, physics, angular velocity. This is actually the verification, so I should verify it there. And I'm just going to grab all of my data and I'm going to copy it. I want to go back to the file that I had before, which is the 1.81 millivolts. And you'll see that we have all of this information. We have our prediction and everything. I am going to duplicate this page, 1.81. Just going to duplicate that, and I'm going to call this 1 millivolts. Okay, and I'm going to move this to the end. The reason why I want to move it to the end, I'm just saying that this is the last thing that I'm working on, so I'm trying to step through it. So remember, well, we don't have to remember, we can go back to our prediction, but I'm going to go and select A, B, C, D, E, and video analysis, Y velocity, video analysis. Why do I have multiple Y velocities here? Something might be wrong here. Let me go back to 0.6. Oh, I think I see. I put too much stuff in here. I think I did it wrong. So I had better, I messed up, guys. All right, I can fix this real quick. I'm just gonna copy all of this. We have all of our information. Copy this. I'm gonna go to the 1.8 video and I'm gonna paste this. Paste that. Okay, so that's the same. And then I'm going to go to the 1 millivolt, and I want to paste this one as well. So I'll paste that as well. So now I just need to go and get the data for 1.81 and then for 1 millivolt. So it was a little bit off. So I'm going to go and get that data. So the 1.81 is here. So I think all that I need is the first thing, the first 3 columns. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go back and go into the 1.81 millivolts. I really need to rename that to like verification. But you'll notice that we have these first 3 columns here, and it's time, x-axis, x and y. And then we have the radius produced here. So I'm just going to paste that. And now we're going to need to go and get these 2 columns. Those are the other 2 columns. Okay. So before I do that, I just want to duplicate this file. And I want to keep both files. And I'm just going to call this verification. And I want to put it in the same, well, a different file now. And it's going to be here. So I'm going to say save. So we know that we're saving this in our verification file now. Now I want to go back to, I believe that's 1.81. And I'm going to grab these last 2 columns. The last 2 columns are velocities. So let's just pull this over. I'm going to copy that. Go back. And then go back to our verification. And I'm going to paste them in here. So that's going to be pasted right there. And you'll see that the last 2 rows are not needed. So I'll just get rid of that, delete. And let's see what we have for our average angular velocity. We have 13.75 still. Did we change anything? That's 1.8. What about 6? This is 13.75. It can't be the same. So I need the 0.61 data set. So let me go back because I believe that I've confused it a little bit, but I know where the data can be found. It's going to be in physics term, angular velocity. So here's the 0.61 millivolts. So go here, and I'm just going to grab the time, the x, and the y, copy that, and I want to go back to the verification file. You most likely want to correct everything, but this is fine too. So I just need the first 3 columns, paste those, okay. Then I need the next 2 columns. So I go back here, and I'm going to go back to 0.61. And I want to grab the x velocity and y velocity. So I'm just going to copy that. And then go back to our verification video. And substitute those values in. So I'm just going to paste that. Let me see if it stops anywhere. Okay, it goes all the way there. And make sure I've dragged this down. So I'm going to go ahead and drag this down, make sure that all of the calculations are being made here. And these calculations need to be made as well. Let's drag this down. Okay, so it looks as though I have everything there. So the average angular velocity for 0.61 is 4. The average angular velocity, let's see here, do we have everything here? I just want to make sure that we have this average here. Yep. And let me make sure that we have the average here. Okay, that's HH. Now we need to do the same thing for 1 millivolt. Okay, we're going to go ahead and acquire this info. So 1 millivolt, what was our prediction? I really need to, hopefully I was referring back for interpolation. And it doesn't look like it, did I? Yep. And what about, yep. That's one of the good things about referring back. So when you make a mistake, the correction will propagate all the way through. It should propagate even to this page. So now it should be around 7.2. Okay, for interpolation, it should be around 7.62. I'm wrong. And then if we use extrapolation, let's go back over to our calculator here. See, the calculation was all wrong. So that was, let me look at our equation. That is 8.025 minus, and this is going to be at 1 volt, 0.7698. 0.7698. So we should get something around 7.25. This is our extrapolated value, and the best we can do with our interpolated value is kind of guess between these two numbers. Okay, so that's good. Let's now get that information for 1 millivolt, and we have that here. So here's our 1 millivolt data set. So we'll collect the first 3 tables, or the first 3 columns, not tables, but the first 3 columns. We're just going to copy that. I'm going to go back and I'm going to go to verification. And then we're going to go to 1.0. So we're just going to drag this over and paste. All right, and you'll notice that the amount of points are much greater. So I'll need to drag down, okay? So, but before that, let me go ahead and get X and Y velocity. And the X and Y velocity is going to be D and E. So I'm going to copy that, go back to verification, and go over to video analysis and paste. And so now definitely you could see that we need to fill and drag this down so we can get ourselves an appropriate calculation. And we know that the radius is about 10. Then we need to do the same thing over here. Copy. No, we want to fill. Fill. And let's just drag down. Okay. And our average angular velocity is coming out to be 7.996. So for our equation, it was saying that it was 7.25. For our extrapolation, it was saying that it was 7.62. Okay, and not extrapolation, but for our interpolation. So we can go ahead and do a percent error or percent difference. And we have what we expected. So what is this, our theory? Or our, let's just say our interpolation. So this was our guess. This was our hypothesis. And then we actually took a measurement. Okay. And so our interpolation was about 7.25 for the angular velocity, and what we actually found was 7.99 or 8.00. Okay, and so now we're going to find the percent difference there. And the percent difference equals to the absolute value, ABS, the first number minus, I have to do that again, the first number minus the measured value, and that's going to be divided by the average of the two values. So I'll take this one, and I'll say plus this one, close the parenthesis, divided by 2, and then close the next parenthesis. So I should have had two parentheses right after the division symbol. And I'll just hit return. Oh, it's saying value. Let me see. Okay, ABS, A2 minus B2 divided by A2 plus B1. That's the problem. I'm saying B1, so B1 should be here. This should be B2. All right, and we're going to change that from a general number to a percentage. And you'll see that our percentage is off, or we did this to within 10%. So we can repeat this. Our guess is good to within 10%. Okay? And that will conclude this assignment. Make sure you upload everything that you need to.